Is everybody in? Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The ceremony is about to begin.
This is very real.
Fantastic.
This drug is dangerous.
Wrong.
You cannot play with it. It's not funny. It's not something to laugh about. Good people don't smoke marijuana.
Shut your little punk ass up.
But the more you hate me, the more you will learn.
Welcome to another episode of the Autoflower podcast, where we chat with growers, breeders, and anybody relevant to the Autoflower cannabis community. I'm Chad, I'm your host. I am a fellow Autoflower grower, and I appreciate you being here. Big shout out to the new Patreon supporters, the real Mr. Flowgrown 420, Dylan, Jolene, and Guy. Thank you so much for signing up. Thank you for your support, and welcome to the community. Unfortunately, the Flowering Club spots are sold out again. I plan on opening up some more spots on the 1st of October. I'm just doing some math to see how many I can open. So I apologize if you tried to get in after they sold out, but fear not, I will have a spot open for you soon, my friend. We've got Rasta K back for a third round. I feel a little bit bad though, because I didn't realize I talked so much in this episode until I edited it. So my apologies to Rasta K. We meant to chat about growing and just various things, but the conversation just kind of took off on its own from the very beginning. We ended up chatting a lot about the prohibition and stigma that still unfortunately surrounds cannabis. It's easy for someone like me living in a legal state to forget that a lot of our fellow growers are still being oppressed by the government. So naturally, this episode got a little bit political. I considered not even posting it, to be honest, mostly because I let a bad review get in my head. I received a negative review on Apple Podcasts about getting political in a previous episode, and was told that they'll never listen to me again. So to be completely honest, I have no idea what they're even referring to. But what can I say, man? Such is life in the big city. So anyway, because of that, I was hesitant to share this episode at first, but then I realized that, as this podcast continues to rapidly grow, there will indeed be people who don't like me or what I have to say. And you know what? To be honest, I'm totally okay with that. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the conversation. Please welcome back to the Autoflower podcast for round 3, my friend and my gromie, Rasta K. Yeah, man. So what's new, dude? What have you been up to?
Dude, a lot, man. I've had a kid, so that's what's been pretty much the past 11 months. I've been doing that, and that's taken a big kind of turning point, in life with my grow and everything else. So that's, it's my first one. I'm 33, so I know a lot of people out there have had them. I know you have some, and I think it's a new fucking challenge, dude, in itself, man. Being a dad and being a grower, I think is a challenge, especially in Prohibition land.
Yeah, for sure, man. I know that's got to be rough, dude, to be growing in Prohibition
that was
land.
one of them. That's why I took a lot of my stuff down when I did, because things were getting around, and I was like, dude, I have a 6-month-old son right now, and my name was coming up places, and I was like, I cannot risk getting him taken away. You know what I mean? I hate it because, dude, if I didn't have a kid, I would have told him yeah, come and get my plants, dude. What seriously, it's medicine. But with having a kid involved, it took a different turn.
Yeah, you know what, man? I have a really, really difficult time wrapping my mind around the thought process of the lawmakers. In one way I do, and another way I don't. And I'm sorry to get political, because somebody left a negative review on iTunes because they said I got political once. I don't remember what it was about, but I was like, really? What was it about? I don't even remember. Anyways, so just ahead of time, sorry to get political, but I don't understand. Like, well, I do understand. I should say I do understand, because I get like their excuses. Like I hear their excuses. I hear what their reasons, but they're just their reasons are they don't hold any foundation. They don't hold any water, and they're just full of shit, man. To be honest with you, so it's hard for me to wrap my mind around just the hypocrisy that exists, especially in the South. And, I love the South, dude. My dad lives in Alabama. My brother lives in Alabama. A lot of my family lives in Alabama. And, I've got family in Texas as well and stuff like that. So, like, I love the South. But, dude, like, some of this, the hypocrisy and shit, you know what I mean? That happens.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it has religion wrapped around it, too. And well, that's that religion wrapped around it, and then you get political, and like it's I mean, dude, you can lose friends real quick, you know what I mean, around here if you vote for the wrong person. But that's bullshit, though, you know what I mean? That's the shit that I don't fuck around with. I don't like it. I think it's so dumb, and that's why I hate it down here. But it's where I'm at, and it's kind of I think it's where I'm needed, man. I really think this is where I'm needed, because the change is needed here.
Yeah, I agree.
This generation our generation, the millennials, and then, my son's generation and my nieces and nephews, like that generation is where it's going to be a change. But it kind of sucks for us, because we just kind of have to live it now and kind of just let it run its course. But the change is coming, though.
Yeah, I think it's down the pipes. I just don't know how far away it is. I mean, state after state keeps doing it, but even then, dude, it's just. I know that people. I'm happy. Okay, let me stop. Let me back up, because I'm gonna start getting heated. I'm glad that states are legalizing, right? Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that we should compromise and just let go simply because they made some portion or some part in some way legal. And what I mean by that is we need to keep pushing back. And the reason is because a lot of states right now, it may be legal to consume medical cannabis, but you're not allowed to grow it. You know what I mean? Or it might be medical and recreational, but you're not allowed to grow it.
Yeah.
And
I've heard about a lot of places. Yeah, the growers' rights, man.
Yeah, I don't understand, dude. I don't understand that. I mean, I know that there's all these different people got their different reasons and all that, but the fact of the matter is, though, is when we strip it down to its bare bones, it's just a plant, dude. I mean, it really is just like it's a biological living organism that we didn't create. You know what I mean?
No, I made a joke, man, saying if we were to make a big petition enough to go and try to criminalize tomatoes, dude, it'd be the same fucking thing. It's like, what makes it so different for me to grow a tomato in my backyard and not go and sell it at a farmer's market? I mean, yeah, it doesn't get you intoxicated, but it's still a plant. You know what I mean? It's dependent on how you use it. A fresh marijuana plant's not going to get you high either. You have to dry it, you have to cure it, you have to process it. You know what I mean? To make it a medicine.
Yeah.
So there's just, it's a.
I mean, really, we're just in this weird bottlenecked time, like cannabis has been used for thousands of years medicinally, spiritually, in all kinds of different ways, recreationally. We know that for a fact, dude. There's documentation and there's archaeological evidence to back that up, right? And then so you fast forward and everything's cool up until 100 years ago, basically, when politics were shifting in America, like the way that the government was ran, and there's these certain people and they had an agenda, man, and cannabis was in the way. It was in the way. And so they, slapped this derogatory name of some Mexican tobacco called marijuana on it, and they go out and they, do their political shenanigans and get everybody, scare the crap out of everybody, telling all the white people that this marijuana will cause your white daughters to marry black men, as if that's a problem to begin with. Madness. Talk about racism, dude. You know, yeah, reefer madness, man. Like the whole thing, it just all the propaganda.
That's when that college thing was on, and I saw that. I thought I was tripping out, man. I was like, "This is nuts, dude! Like, how do people even? How can people in our today time even look back at that and take that as a serious like thing? You know what I mean? It was so racial and so back behind. Like, I mean, dude, that's the thing. It's like they can just kind of shove it on the carpet now and not say we're going to look at it like that. You know, we're going to look how racist everyone was back then, and even if they do, they're like, okay, if we were. But now what? You know, they're not, I don't feel like they're ready to really push everything forward and let it go legal. I mean, there's states like Colorado, dude, they're now doing the decriminalizing mushrooms a lot, like Denver.
Mm-hmm.
They did it, they ran it for a little while, decriminalizing mushrooms, and now they're talking about expanding it because it takes, I guess, little states like that to do it. And little states like mine, dude, where we're so fucking back-ass cunt, dude, dude, in the city that I live in, man, it's predominantly different. It's like, it's kind of 50-50 races and stuff. So there's a lot of different races around here. But you go to a certain part of town, man, if you're wearing like red, you're wearing red shoes, which is like belongs to Bloods, the gang, dude, they'll literally like shoot you, dude. They'll come and kick your ass or something just for wearing a color, you know what I mean? And that still happens today. So like, there's so much other shit that like I feel like needs to get worked on because the state that I live in, that's where the most of the marijuana, that's where most of the cannabis is. That's where they focus on all the drugs are in the gangs and in the streets. You know what I mean? So they put a very, very bad like name on it. And people here are like, cannabis, oh my god, or like marijuana. Like my sister, dude, my own sister, like thinks that I'm harming. She's like, I can't believe you want to grow cannabis with your son, like, you know. And it's like, she doesn't say I'm not a bad person. She knows I'm not a bad person, but she still can't get it out of her head that like it's an okay thing. She still thinks I'm a bad person because of it. And she doesn't allow her kids around my house because I have it around here.
Let me just interrupt you real quick, dude, and just say that I know you know this, dude, but you're not a bad person, dude. No. You are not a bad person for growing and consuming marijuana. I just want to tell you that, man, because that hurts, because that's family. And when your own family says stuff like that cuts, that cuts deep, dude. And you know, I think like one of the only ways through that is to just live as if it's not wrong, and let those people have their opinion, and that's okay, man. They've got that opinion for whatever reason, and there's not a whole lot I can do to change that. We can engage in, you know, a civil conversation about it, but if people start calling me a druggie, or they start, you know, which those people need love too, you know what I mean?
Well, it's just unhealed. I
don't care if it's a heroin addict or a prostitute or the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. Everybody wants to belong, and everybody needs love, man, you know?
That's 100%.
Yeah, it just sucks, man. So for family, that cuts deep, dude. You know? Yeah,
but you know, I mean, that's kind of like, yeah, dude. I mean, we could get deeper into that shit, but that's like what kind of like stems a lot of like depression, you know, for a lot of people, dude. It's family. Now, a lot of people don't realize that until some people never actually realize it. I think that their childhood is what's actually stemmed their anxiety and depression today. You know, they don't look at and think about it, and how they were raised and how their mind was wired and programmed as a child, you know, bringing up by that parent. And if that parent, like my parents were, you know, had negative reinforcements behind things, you know, like you're gonna be like this if you do this. If you continue being like, you're gonna be a loser, you know. So it's kind of embedded. So it's like you turn around to be the bigger person, and you say, hey, look, I've been growing cannabis, dude. I have a passion for it, you know what I mean? And my dad sees it now. He sees it now, and he's now accepting it. But it's hard for me to like look at him in his eyes and to be like, it's almost accepted, you know what I mean? Because he didn't accept it for so many years, and he was like, you're going to be a loser if you continue this path. You're never going to succeed if you continue being around drugs. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, hey, look at me now. I'm not a loser. I'm successful. I mean, I'm growing cannabis. I'm not legal in the business, but hey, I'm trying to, you know, I'm helping people with this as a medicine, not growing on the streets just trying to pay my rent.
Yeah, I question that whole narrative, dude. I think that's why I don't fit in very well anywhere, and I always land outside everyone's tribal camps of belief systems and stuff. I question all that. Well, what is a loser? What does a loser look like? What is successful? What is unsuccessful?
Whatever you were programmed as a child.
Yeah, that's all opinionated. That's all opinionated. You know, to me, a loser isn't some guy Rasta K growing cannabis and with his wife and his kid at home. That doesn't make someone a loser to me. To me, a loser is when you could be rich and you could be the most successful person on earth. And to me, a loser is somebody who walks by a single mom who's pulled over on the side of the road with 2 flat tires because they don't want to be late to their meeting at Starbucks or something. To me, a loser is somebody who watches people starve, who has extra food and doesn't do anything about it. To me, a loser is somebody who sits there and scoffs and mocks people who grow and use cannabis while they sit there and shove McDonald's French fries and shakes and shit down their throat, and they engage in so much sugar that it's just feeding all their cancer cells, and they're 350 pounds, and they're yelling at people like you and me because we're growing cannabis. That's just... Sorry.
No, dude, I heard it going on a rage, man. That's good, dude. Just let it out, man. But it's true, dude. Everything you said, it hits it all in the head.
Yeah, it's like, what is a loser? Because you consume, do you drink wine? Do you drink beer, dude? You know what I mean? When's the last time you went out and partied? Oh, you don't? Oh, that's cool. But what else do you do? What's going on behind closed doors that nobody sees? What are your struggles?
We have to compare ourselves to too many people's standards, and that's just because of technology. That's because of social media and everything too. And it's good in a sense because it gives us something to strive for. But if you're striving to be somebody else, that's where you went wrong. You can strive to be follow someone's footsteps, but you don't want to be that person or be that exact same thing. You want to be your own version of that.
Yeah, and question things. I read a book. I'm reading it for like the 3rd time. It's one of my favorite books, dude. It's called The 5 Levels of Attachment, and it goes into detail. It's almost like kind of a psychiatric book, almost like a psychology / spirituality type, like esoteric knowledge type thing. But it's really good, dude. It goes in and it causes you to kind of question your own beliefs. Like, why do you believe that? Why do you believe what you believe? Like, really sit down and think about that for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, you ever sit down and think, like, why do I believe that? Because I believed cannabis was wrong, like just maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
I thought it was wrong. I thought, well, I don't know if I thought it was wrong. I think deep
you were uneducated.
I mean, like deep inside, I didn't give a shit, right? But on the outside, I belonged to this Christian tribe, a particular denominational Christian tribe, and if you step out of the zone of whatever tribe you're in, it could be religious, it could be political, it could be spiritual, it could be a team, a sports team, it could be a tribe that exists within your workplace, a clique. When you step outside, when you go against the grain of that tribe, they turn on you, dude. You're no longer a member. You don't belong. You're outcast. You're shoved aside and you're scoffed at and looked at differently. But it's like, so that's part of the reason is I was just getting in line and going along with the narrative. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm kind of like, when I really sat down after I kind of left all of that and I was sitting down and I tried some Rick Simpson oil, some concentrated cannabis oil, and it helped me so much and it made me feel so damn good. I was like, wait a minute, why is this wrong again? Like I sat down and I really thought about it. Like, why isn't it okay? How come it's not okay? Like, wait, hold on a minute. Is this okay for me? Like, it might not be okay for you, but is it okay for me?
What you just said right there is like what I tell so many people, man. It might not be okay. Like if I tell my dad, it's like, it's not your cup of juice, man. It doesn't help him. It helps me. So, just let it be like that.
Yeah. I mean, I also don't think it's okay that, that I have and I'm just going to confess here, like the last 2 nights, I have eaten a bowl of ice cream that you would look at and you'd be like, Chad, you're going to freaking... Actually, the reason I say this is because my son's friend stayed the night last night and he looked at my ice cream bowl and he goes, dude, you're going to get diabetes. I mean, I have a bad thing with ice cream in particular. So I used to eat it all the time. I used to weigh like 253 pounds, dude. Like right now I'm at 180. I used to be like fatter, man, overweight, like just. Anyways,
you joke about your weight a lot, so I never know.
The point is though, is it's like, where is the pushback in that? That could cause cancer. It could cause diabetes. It could cause inflammation. It's not good. It's not good for me. You know what I mean? I have Tourette, so all that sugar can like hype up my tics and my anxiety. Why aren't people telling me not to eat that? Why aren't people? Do you get what I'm saying, dude? I know it's just ice cream, but
I do know what you're saying, man. I mean,
it's
hypocrisy,
kind of funny,
dude.
Because,
yeah, it's just like coffee, dude, with people with caffeine. Like, I can't. My wife drinks like fucking Dunkin' Donuts and energy drinks and shit, but like, and I will, but dude, if I had to find this out of myself, dude, if I drink like a big ass iced coffee, I notice I like get not panicked, as anxiety attacks. I start getting like really like talkative. I'll get really rapid heart rate, and then sometimes I'll notice like my breathing gets like hyperventilating almost. And I don't know, I'll like be working or something, and I'll like chug an energy drink or something while I'm at work, and I never knew what it was, man. And I stopped drinking coffee. I stopped drinking energy drinks, dude. And like, I don't have any of those. I used to think it was smoking. I used to think I was inducing anxiety from smoking too much, dude. But it was like, in my wake and bake mornings, I would drink usually like 2 iced coffees, like during my session.
oh
So
man,
just all that caffeine, right? That would bring like 180 milligrams of caffeine while I'm smoking. So I'm like increasing my heart rate with smoking and increasing like all that caffeine. So
yeah, I cannot drink iced coffees at full strength. I have to get them like decaf or like an iced Americano decaf or a.
Dude, yeah, we make ours, man. So I take like, and I make it extra strong. I take like four of the big iced coffee Dunkin' bags and just like throw them in a pitcher, dude, and just like that. Dude's like, I do concentrated. But anyway, man, yeah, that's why I stopped doing it, dude, because it was just, dude, it was too much.
Yeah. So what do you like? So being that you're in Prohibition land, so to speak, what do you do to kind of keep yourself out of trouble? Like what kind of tips can you give other growers out there who are in places where they might not?
I mean, I would say you have to have. I would say a house, man, or somewhere like if you're in an apartment, I wouldn't really try it because I think I've seen too many people, especially around in this areas, that do apartments and they're just not ideal. And if you have to, then carbon filters you all the way.
Just make sure you got a good, clean carbon filter that's not. Yeah, maybe switch them out every 6 months or something, or.
I do it once a year, honestly. I'll always keep one on hand just to, just to have in case you ever walk outside and you smell something, you can just change it out real quick. And I've never had that issue yet. Mm-hmm. And I actually have my tent right now doesn't even have a carbon filter on it, and I have a couple in flower. And I have it pumping straight out of my closet into my attic. But see, when it goes in my attic, though, it fills my whole attic up. So, dude, one day I went up there, and holy shit, dude, it smells like a hot ass plant up there, like a humid plant. It's crazy. But anyway, I need to get something, an extracting fan to put up there. But normally I feel like it seeps out slow enough, pretty much, to where it's not like causing a big blast of fucking cannabis odor in the air. But no, I would definitely 100% not probably follow that advice. I would definitely put a carbon filter on. If you smell it, put a carbon filter on.
Yeah, or especially if you're if you're being forced to grow in an apartment, definitely use a carbon filter, huh?
Yeah, and you can honestly get away if you're going to an apartment, you're probably only going to be able to get away with a 2x2 tent anyway, unless you're going to do a room, and that's just dumb because it's going to smell too strong. Even that's why I took my 4x4 down. It just with 9 to 10 plants going in that, dude, when they're all in flower, it's so hard because you can put a carbon filter to exhaust the air, but when you unzip that tent, that air, it just stays in the house,
Oh yeah.
And I had my wife go to work one day, and she had one of her friends or whatever asked her if she's had none smoking, and my wife doesn't smoke really, so she was like, no, because she said she smelled like a skunky plant. Ooh. So just by her being in the house, you know what I mean? Not smoking or anything, just by being here with the plants growing, she was smelling. So.
So what are your thoughts on maybe keeping, a more low profile, smaller, maybe less grow almost, you know what I mean? Smaller plants, less plants maybe, just so you don't.
I think I mean, dude, keeping autoflowers for one, you know what I mean? Because you can keep a perpetual grow going in the same tent, so you don't have to like really open it as much. I open my tents twice a day. That's it. Just in the morning and at night. So autoflowers, you can keep the 18 and 6 or whatever light period you want all the time, so you don't have to worry about changing that. And I mean, dude, I really would just say to keep it like discreet as the carbon filters. Make sure you have just as long as your exhaust has a carbon filter on it going out, and don't go in the same room, because that's just stupid. I see people do that, and it's not stupid. I'm not trying to call anyone stupid, but I don't get the point when you're exhausting like 84-degree air into the same room, and sometimes it's right there on the floor next to their intake vent. You know what I'm talking about, on the floor. And you're just exhausting 84-degree humid air, and it's just pulling it back into, and you want that air out, because all you're going to run into is just issues.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot and researching that a lot lately, especially ever since I talked to Mr. Flowgrown. Because I've got, well, this is the first time I've ever even had exhaust vents. Oh, it's the first time I've ever even had a legit setup. But I've got, because I'm going into the same room, and it's causing me heat issues right now, because it's still, yesterday it was 91 degrees here. So what's happening is I actually had to pull my drivers off of my light and mount them outside my tent to cool the tents down a little bit. So I wanted to, I just don't have enough ducting. I wanted to duct up into my attic and out my gable vent, but I didn't have enough ducting. I've been super busy, and it is going to start cooling down. So I'm almost thinking I might hold off, because then it's going to get really cold in here. It'll get like 60 in here, like 55 in the winter.
You're not going to be heating it at all?
Well, I'd rather not, because I have a mini split in here, because this is my shop. It's my garage. I have a mini split, but number one,
if you can figure out that your lights run long enough to where it warms it up with the lights on and then lights off, man. I mean, you can let it get cold in there.
Yeah,
and then get a nice fade.
You know what I've been doing to refresh the air is, because I've got like a whole house fan in my attic, and it's like a quiet cool. And
I think I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. So what I do is I crack my garage open, and I go in there and turn that fan on, and I can replace the air in my garage in like 60 seconds, dude. I mean, it's powerful. So that's what I've been doing, is like every once in a while I'll open the door, usually like once a day. I'll crack the door, and I'll just turn that fan on for a couple of minutes. Just recycle. I'm sure it
helps your CO2 as well.
That's what I was worried about. See, so because when it starts cooling down, if I could just keep my grow, I know this isn't proper, so people don't follow this isn't advice. This is just, I'm just testing stuff out. I should vent it up into the attic and out and do it proper, but I don't like running my mini split, because number one, I'm just cheap and I want it to last as long as I can. It's already a few years old. Number two, it's freaking sucks the moisture out of the air when it's on the AC or the heater, and I'm already down. Like, one of my tents doesn't have a humidifier right now, because the last two I ordered, one of them leaked and the other one just kept shutting off.
Build your own, man. It's so simple. I'm going to talk about that after this.
Okay. Yeah, so what I did is, or not what I did, so one of my tents doesn't have a humidifier, so one tent is at 50% humidity. The one without the humidifier, it's down to 20 right now.
Holy shit. And what do you have in there? What's in, like, so you have it in veg?
Yeah, there's some.
Is that the 10-gallon?
No, that's my auto pots are in that one.
Okay. 20%?
It's at 20%, and it'll get lower, dude.
I would at least get in there and spray the fucking walls with a spray bottle or something.
When my lights went out a few hours ago, I went in there with a spray bottle and like sprayed all over, sprayed the plants, sprayed the top of the soil, just to try to hike that humidity up a bit.
Shit,
I ordered another.
They get that there just because you're running the mini split?
No, that's just normal, dude. It's dry here, man.
That dry, man.
It's dry. Yeah, that's really
crazy,
dry.
Dude, I deal with like my lights off. It's like I had to turn my AC Infinity up to like 8, because when my lights turn off, it gets about 75 to 80% humidity in my tent inside of my house.
Yeah,
but that's just because the plants are sweating though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so my thought is like I'll just kind of try to push because like next week it should be cooling down significantly. So instead of going
what's
out,
cooling down for you guys though? Like what's your
like 75 during the day,
Like 50s at night.
Yeah, at night it's been like 60.
That's how it is here, man. But I don't even deal with it. Those temperatures are like perfect because if your tents, they're going to be enclosed anyway, so it's going to have like its own little sealed environment going on. So I think you should be like ideal.
Yeah.
I don't know with the humidity though. I think we have the opposite. We're opposite. We're battling opposite things.
Yeah, where I need a humidifier, you guys out there need a dehumidifier.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. I'm just kind of testing it out because I'd like to just utilize the heat of those lights in that tent when it's wintertime, when it's like 60 degrees out here. Hopefully it'll be, 70. Maybe I can get it up to like 75 in the tents.
Yeah. So what you're going to do is just to try to keep it warm is what you're saying. You're just going to like let it continuously run in the room.
Yeah, I'm going to let it continue to heat up and exhaust because it's like a very slow heater in and of itself, which is bad.
What are you exhausting into, a filter? Or is it just straight coming out?
No, it's just going right up, just straight out the top.
Yeah.
I got it going right out it's just shooting right straight up toward the ceiling.
That's
and then
why
I've got
have it running on low, because didn't you say you had it running like 4 or 5 or something? Your speed?
Yeah, well, one of them, I've got
no resistance at all.
Yeah, it's working out though. It's working out, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm one of those growers. I'm like I half-ass stuff sometimes, and I'm like trying to get away without spending money, and I'm trying to do this.
Dude, that's what I do, though. That's the whole. Yeah. That's what I try to pass on to everybody else because it doesn't have to be expensive. That's why you don't see my grow with. Dude, I don't have a light in my grow that's over $150, man.
Mm-hmm.
So and I grow like really. I mean, I grow decent cannabis. I'm not going to say it's fucking top shelf, but it's decent.
It's top shelf for you. That's all that matters.
Yeah, dude, it does. Yeah, it stays on my top shelf all the time.
But that's the main reason I don't like to run that mini split, dude, is because it costs me a lot of money. I got to cool down this whole shop just to cool down 6 seedlings. If I got seedlings going and it's 85 in here, I'm like, damn.
You can't. I have the benefits. My grow's in a spare bedroom, so whatever we keep the house at is like what is going to be the lung room in a sense, you know what I mean?
That would be ideal.
Like the lung room just sits at, like right now it's 70, 72, 73 in the house, so it's my tents with the lights are off right now, it's like 68, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. That's how usually they get at night, but when the lights come on, there's going to be probably like 83 to 84, but I run it at night. My lights at night, my lights are on at night, so it naturally cools down because my house is cooler at night. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I do.
Okay, I figured. Yeah,
yep.
I figured
my lights
much.
shut off at 2 p.m. because that's like right when it starts getting the hottest part of the day, and then they come back on at 8 p.m. when it starts to cool down.
2 to 8. Another reason I do that is because it's fucking expensive in the summertime. There's they hike up the rates of that during that time.
Yeah, I know out there. I know in Alabama especially, man, their electric bills are crazy. So back to kind of growing in Prohibition land, like what do you think as far as like having an Instagram account and stuff like that? Like do you do anything special with that? Do you try to have any rules of thumb that you kind of live by that you set for yourself? Or
I did at first, honestly. I think when you first start doing it and you realize that you're kind of like getting seen and more people, like I've been on this podcast 3 times now, but at first I feel like I was worried about it too much, and that's what I'm going to tell everybody else that is starting off. The more you worry about it, the more you think about it, the worse it's going to be. And that sounds so like cliche, it's so like easy and simple, but it's so true, man. Like, and then the minute I stopped, like, just not really focusing on, oh God, is somebody going to be seeing my page? Should I post this because somebody else is going to see it, or should I not do this? You know what I mean? It's instead of like kind of always having that negative reinforcement, the negative thought of, whoa, well, this could happen or that could happen. You know what I mean? You just kind of just get rid of that shit altogether, and you just do it, man. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I'm trying to make a statement to where you can grow wherever you are, and if it's a passion, you have a passion for it. If it's your real medicine, like this is for me, then you're not going to let anybody stop you. Yeah, I mean, if I got caught, dude, honestly, I mean, I could go to jail, but I really think, knock on wood, I just think that I don't think I would get anything too bad would come out of it, to be honest with you, because I'm not selling. I don't have cash in the house. I don't have weapons, dude. I don't even have a gun license. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like, if there would be no reason for them to come to my house because they're just gonna leave empty-handed. They're not gonna have money. They're not gonna have anything.
Yeah,
That's how I look at it.
I also think there's some truth to not that I mean, well, let me say I should have said this at the beginning of the episode. I don't condone anyone doing anything illegal. So if you get busted, please don't blame me.
No, definitely, dude.
But
no.
yeah, I think there is an element of truth though to the fact that like you know, a lot of these law enforcement agencies and stuff, dude, they're worried about like, you know, like some, not that our grows aren't legit, but they're worried about some legit grows, dude. I mean, like
they're worried about the grows that are putting a lot of money. They're putting money in gangs' pockets and stuff into like criminal organizations. That's what they really care about. Not big criminal organization. I mean, they do, but like on our standards, they're literally going after the people that are selling, you know, 10, 15 pounds a week and just making $1,000 and going and buying diamonds and rings and all this shit because they're like, hey, stop flaunting it. You're gonna keep flaunting it. Guess what? We're gonna come take that shit from you. You're being stupid with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of my point. You know, it's like it's not, they're not necessarily like out, you know, flying a helicopter over your home searching for, you know, heat signatures and stuff anymore, for, you know, a couple of autoflower plants in your in a tiny little tent tucked away in the corner of your room. You know,
that's what I'm saying, dude. If they were to like bust in and like, I'd be like, dude, are you fucking kidding? I'd laugh, dude.
They'd probably laugh. They'd be like, oh, come on. They'd be like,
John, hey, John, I thought you said this place was gonna be a bust, man. What the fuck is this?
They'd probably laugh at you.
Yeah. Like, oh man, we're sorry, dude. Here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, because I know, like, you know, if I was in Prohibition land, I would definitely, you know, like I wouldn't be posting, you know, pictures of my house and my face and all that all the time.
Oh, yeah,
you know, just
sure.
kind of simple stuff, you know what I mean, like that. And then I would maybe even consider like, you know, like a what do they call that? Like a IP vanish, like
a
type
VPN.
of thing. Yeah, like a VPN.
Yeah,
if you're really worried about it.
So that's what I'm saying. I did that. I was paying $14, $15 a month for like a hidden. It would hide my IP address. So if anybody was watching me, fuck that, man. I'm telling you, that's being too goddamn paranoid, dude. If you smoke enough weed, you're gonna get fucking paranoid. And if you smoke enough, and then you have all that shit in your head, it's gonna make you even worse off, dude. You know what I'm saying? If you're sitting there thinking, like, I'm on my phone right now and they're fucking watching me, dude, they're listening to what I'm saying, then you don't need to be smoking, dude. You need to get that shit taken care of first. For real.
I see what you're saying. Kind of have be in the right mind to begin with. Type of
thing. You know how they have set and settings for taking a trip, dude? I think they should have a set and setting for when you're fucking smoking, dude. Like, if you're not in the right mindset, which don't get me wrong now, sometimes we smoke to get ourselves, you know, to get our mind right. But if you're not, like, sometimes people are like, oh, I just smoke because I need to chill out. But, dude, if you're in a pissed off mood, if you're already mad, you're angry, and you go and smoke, dude, it never calms anybody down usually. It usually intensifies it. You have to get yourself out of that situation and then calm down, breathe, and go smoke. And I'll tell you why sometimes smoking helps. Because when you smoke, you're breathing. You have to breathe in. And when you breathe, you calm the fuck down. You get oxygen to your brain. Think about that, dude. That's why people are like, oh, when I smoke so much, it relaxes me. Yeah, because you're inhaling so much air, so much smoke, so you're literally flooding your brain with new oxygen, so you're filling up new cells.
So do you feel like, you know, before when you were really freaked out about it and stuff, do you feel like that just really added to a lot of your anxiety on a daily basis?
100%, dude, yeah. It added to me smoking even more. And that was where my downfall was, is I was consuming more than I should have been, in a sense. You know, like, I had so much and I was like, well, I'm just going to smoke. I was smoking out of boredom. I was smoking because I just had it. And then I fell into, like, well, now I'm just going to, like, you know, smoke because it's my medicine, you know. But I didn't realize it was a medicine until I had to kind of like stop smoking it for a little bit. Not stop, but just like really take a good tolerance break, like 2 weeks, and just started mixing CBD. I started smoking CBD, man. It sucks, but it kind of helped me get my tolerance back to where now I can smoke, like, you know, a 2 or 3 grams a day, dude, and I'm good, you know, to go. Before I was smoking fucking like a half ounce sometimes in a day just to get by, you know, just because I was like trying to get the fuck out of my head.
I see. Yeah, we got to be careful with that, man, because cannabis can be used for that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, the thing is, like, the whole moral of that is you're thinking you're using it as a medicine to escape, but really you're kind of like already fallen into using that, and that is you have to stop that to kind of to wake up in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting angle to look at it. I like it,
Yeah,
though.
dude, I've been the past fucking year, dude. All these mushrooms not all the mushrooms, just the microdosing I've been doing, man, has really fucking changed my perspective, for sure.
Yeah, do you feel like that kind of took a lot of your anxiety away as well?
I don't think it took it away. It helped me learn how to deal with it. It helped me learn how to accept a lot of things and just like let it be, you know? Because like you said before, I think, is that if you can't change, there's nothing you can change about it, so just kind of let it be. If you can't force change. Mm-hmm. If you force change, it's gonna cause like stress. It's gonna cause anxiety. You're forcing things. Anybody forces you to do something is gonna cause stress.
Yeah.
Now you can take that the wrong way. I mean, don't just sit around your fucking house and don't do anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. I could get kind of deep into that shit, dude. Especially if I'm smoking.
I hear you, man. Yeah, dude. It's just it's crazy, man. It's just different ways to look at it, and everybody's different too. You know, everybody just reacts differently, and you know, even with cannabis too. But I feel like cannabis has helped me do what you're kind of talking about, what the shrooms have kind of helped you with. Yeah. I feel like cannabis kind of it reveals me to myself, like as Bob Marley would say. You know, it for me, I don't know if it's just because of the way I am or how my mind works or what have you, but you know, when I consume cannabis, I can almost just sit down and have a cup of coffee and go on a journey within myself, almost like it is meditation. I'll meditate on purpose, but it's like I'll really go in there, man, and I'll go search around in that head of mine, and like I said, question my belief system. Why do I believe what I believe? You know, and what am I doing in my marriage that my ego might be coming through and not seeing reality, and what part am I playing, you know? You know, and it really, for me, it helped me kind of explore and find my shadow self. If you're familiar with any like Carl Jung and all that type of stuff, but it just kind of, just the idea, the realization that, we're way off topic, huh? I'm sorry, but it just this
dude, you're not. We're not. This is
just
good.
this realization that the things that I hate about humanity are in me, whether I like it or not. There's parts of me, there's parts of me that I don't like, and just realizing that, but being able to identify that when it comes. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, something happens with my kids or with my wife, and my instinct reaction is to do one thing, but yet I know it's harmful, but I do it anyways. That part of myself where when I consume cannabis, it kind of takes that part of myself and it puts it in a picture frame, shoves it in my face, and it says, like, look at this, bud. Like, look at what part you're playing. Not in a judgmental way. It just reveals it to me. It puts it there. It sets it there, and it allows me. I can either turn away from that and ignore it, or I can engage with that and go a little bit deeper. And that's
awesome.
That's just what I love about it, man. And then I think with that, there is a part, I think, physically or physiologically that's calming my anxiety and my tics in some way. But it's also calming.
Cannabis use 100%.
Yeah,
and with the mindfulness, dude.
But yeah, there's something with mindfulness there with it too, man. It's doing something. It's making me you know, I want to say it.
Look up Joe Dispenza or Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has a lot of stuff on like how during he's a doctor, like a neurologist, and he's done studies on people through meditation, and he's the guy that they do like the readings and show like that how there's actually an energy wave all people that meditate, and he's shown and talked about how when we sit through meditation, that you're rewiring your brain, you're activating new neurons, and you're firing new thinking processes in your brain. So you are changing your way of thinking. But you have to be doing it for the good, and it does take time. But within time, your whole logic, you know what I mean? That's what I was saying at the beginning, when a lot of people suffer from their childhood. You have to, through meditation, you have to go back to your childhood through meditation and accept that and realize that, and then start breaking it down within meditation sessions. And then you get to the point where you're like, okay, this is why I act this way. I'm just never aware. I was never actually aware of where I'm at, or never, realizing that I react instead of act. I never acted on anything. I just react to every situation that comes to me. It's like a fight or flight. You just always ready to fight.
Yeah, that's a thing, man. I used to be the same way, dude. I used to be really emotionally reactive to everything around me if my day wasn't going right, And
cannabis, dude, is medicine. It is a that's why I call it a medicine. And my dad still to this day is like, it's not a fucking medicine, but he'll never accept it. Still, it's a medicine to me. It's a medicine to you. It's a medicine to people that get a benefit from that. And I smoke before every meditation session. I meditate in the morning, like early, like 5 a.m. And that's when I always smoke. Like, I usually pack a bong, dude. Pack my little mini bong up, and I'll smoke a couple green rips out of there, and then put my music on, and I'm able to just breathe and sink in. I don't let the outside noise bother me. I can sink deeper into my own thoughts, because cannabis is a psychedelic. It does activate new, like, things going on in your brain.
Yeah, it can I want to say it can kind of fine tune and, well, definitely alter, but it can help you explore your consciousness.
100%.
For sure, man. Yeah.
And you don't even need that much of it. You just need to use it the right way.
Yeah, and I don't think that's what people understand. I think that's what your dad and your sister are missing, dude. And I think that's what people miss with me as well. Like, if you guys only knew, if you can hop inside my body for one day, or in your body for a day, and with no cannabis, just go through a normal day. And then if you can hop in my body in a day where I use cannabis, there's such a contrast, dude.
Oh my God, yeah.
I wish people can actually
knows.
experience it, though. Like, I wish people can actually experience it the way that I do, because they would never be saying any of this nonsense that people try to push. It wouldn't.
Man. That's just so generational, though, man. It's gonna pass, dude. I'm in my 30s. I don't know. I think you're in your 30s.
I'm 41.
You just hit 40, didn't you? Yeah. So it's still gonna be in our generation, man. But like, it's like people like my parents and your parents were the ones that were fed with this Nixon era bullshit about how they were brainwashed into being it so bad and it's poison. And now our generation is like, holy shit, we were fed lies this whole time. This is not bad. So we're changing it. Our kids, your kids, that are going to grow up knowing that my dad uses some medicine. This is not a drug. This is not bad. My dad uses this, and he's better with it. So it's going to change, you know what I mean? Times are going to change, and it sucks because there's a lot of broken, damaged shit that's happened from it, dude. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Yeah, and
it's still happening. We're still damaging and breaking people from it. But I mean, I feel like that's the devil, dude. That's the sin, not devil, like, but that's like the evil, man.
Yeah.
The fucking government, dude. And I don't want to sound like hippie kind of thing, but dude, I do think it's the government's out to control us no matter what, dude. They really are. They're out to control us, because if they don't have control of us, what do they have control over? Nothing.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I know definitely when it comes to cannabis laws in a lot of states still, whatever way
psilocybin's the next biggest thing, man, because that's what's opening that's what's making people not kill themselves right now, dude. There's so many depression, or people going through like suicidal depression, like with psychedelic therapy that's helping them get out of that.
Yeah, that's the problem for people who are against, well, both cannabis and now psilocybin, but that as well, man. There's too many studies that are coming out in favor of both. It's just too many, man. At universities, there's just all these articles and stuff that you can read that have been peer reviewed, or they're, you know, maybe not peer reviewed yet, but they're published, you know, properly, like in the science journals and all that stuff. You can go read them, dude. Like there's
well, you know, that's
some
what happened in the
legit.
60s. They said that same shit happened in the 60s, but because of technology, they wasn't published on the internet. In the 60s, that's when Nixon and them covered up, was all the research on psychedelics and cannabis that said it was a medicine, but they said, nah, fuck that, covering that up. So
Yeah,
now it's being re-released, and they're saying, hey, now we can reopen all these cases, like the Terrence McKenna and all these other guys we're working with.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is a form of control, man. When there's a governing body of people, you know, whether they're, you know, politicians or, you know, deacons and bishops in a church or what have you, man. When there's a governing body of people, and they are sitting at the top and telling you that you can't legally grow and consume this naturally living organism of a plant that's just given to us upon the earth, or that evolved, or however way you want to look at it. Yeah, it's a either way you look at it, man, it's just a form of control. You know, they're telling you, no, you may not grow and consume a plant that has shown to have medical benefits. It's shown not to be harmful. And if we're talking recreational, it sure as hell ain't as harmful as alcohol. That's for damn sure. You know, if we're talking medical, there's just proven benefits of it. But yet, your doctor is allowed, and I'm not saying that they should outlaw, you know, pharmaceuticals or opioids. I'm not claiming that at all. But what I am saying is that when someone sits there and tells you, no, you may not grow this naturally occurring plant, but yes, you may consume these highly addictive, deadly, life-altering, detrimental opioid pills that your doctor prescribes you.
Even antidepressants, dude. You could use all those same words you put in front of opiates and front of antidepressants are the same fucking thing, dude.
Right. You know, it's like, you know, you can't use this cannabis plant because we feel that. And you know what, dude? Like, I grew up, so I'm 41. I was born in 1980. So when I was a kid in elementary school in the mid 80s, dude, like the DARE, you know, the Just Say No, but that was started by Nancy Reagan. Like that whole thing, I think it was started by her. That whole thing was huge, dude. I remember people coming to our school. I remember like stickers.
Yeah, they had the dog. You remember the little mascot? It had the dog,
yeah, dude.
Oh,
yeah. And you know, and they would, you know, they would tell us, you know, marijuana is so bad and this and that and these drugs, all drugs.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You know, so you're fed this thing and everyone believes it and everybody just goes along and everyone just participates in this illusion. You know, everyone's just participating in this illusion. That's all it is, dude.
Well, you know, that's it, dude. You know, there's some, I don't remember where it was, but I think it was either in Georgia or South Carolina, one of these fucking states, that I was told by a teacher friend that the second grade, they're teaching DARE still. They're still teaching about the DARE program in second grade, about how because marijuana is prohibited. They're still keeping marijuana on there. So they're still feeding these children in these like small towns all these lies. You know what I mean? So this program didn't go away. So you have to think like in these small country towns, and not just in the South, I'm sure it's everywhere, they're still being fed these same lies to believe in.
Yeah, I mean, even here in California, dude, like, you know, it's a little bit split. I mean, well, I say that among the people that I know. I can't say that objectively, but among the people that I know, it's kind of split. There's, you know, half the people I know are like, you know, for it. Some of them smoke themselves, but I know a lot of people who are against it. You know, and
yeah, I just feel like
even
it should
here,
just be like the alcohol kind of thing, you know, just be left at its own. And I think it will get to that, but I don't know, because you can't. I mean, technically, you can make your own alcohol. You can do it in your garage, I guess, and sell it the same way you would be growing cannabis, right? I mean,
yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's like why aren't certain cities allowed to collect rainwater?
Yeah, right. Because they want it for themselves. I mean, shit, that shit falls on your fucking concrete, dude. Why can't you just collect it?
Because anyways,
we're not allowed to have solar panels in our area where we're at because they want us to keep buying from Georgia Power, dude.
Oh my gosh.
So like, yeah.
Yeah. So that same thumb, I guess, without getting too political, because I don't, want a bunch of negative reviews. That same thumb is pressing on the cannabis issue as well. That same thumb that presses down on these other things that oppress people and restrict them, their freedoms, that same thumb presses on people's cannabis freedoms as well, you know? Like, I'm going to be honest with you, dude. Like, I've wanted to leave California for 10 years. Mostly just because I don't like the weather where I live, even though most people do. It's really hot, dude, most of the year. It's dry. It's really crowded.
I'd kill to fucking be in your position to just grow and be in the industry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but I've been desiring for a long time to move somewhere else that's more green, nature, trees. Like, I kind of live in the desert, you know, out here in the Inland Empire. So, but the problem is right now is everywhere that I look to potentially move, it's like my list is so small, because even though so many states have legalized cannabis for either medical or recreational use, a lot of them you're just not allowed to grow.
And it's like, allowed to grow, they're like overrun.
It's crazy, dude. It sucks, man.
I'm in the same position, dude. That's why I've like almost made I don't want to stay where I'm at, but it's in a sense like I'm not stopped looking, but I mean, new states are popping up that are legalizing, but that's the thing. Some of them, like I think Ohio was one of them, and I don't think they have anything with growers' rights in them. Yeah. You know, Georgia has something to where they're going to pass. They're talking about passing a medical program that'll let medical patients grow up to 8 plants. But there's also in Georgia, you can't possess medical. You can't have flower. So it makes no sense to me. Like, how can you grow plants but you can't have flower?
What are you supposed to have?
I don't know.
Concentrates or something?
No, oil is supposed to be just oil. And it's supposed to be 5% max THC is the max you can have for medical here too. So that's another fucking slap in the face, dude.
That's
so anyway,
so weird,
I've got like a family member, dude, that has MS, and you know that purple oxalis that you got from so I'm growing that right now for her because she has a medical card, but she can either get it from Virginia or Colorado, but there's like they don't have, I guess, that ratio that she's looking for that we're allowed here. So it's like instead of having to order from different places, because in Georgia you can't have any, you can't grow here. They don't have any medical ready. So pretty much I just kind of made the decision like, well, fuck, look, hey, I got something going. I'm gonna grow, and I'll grow a plant just for you, and I'll give you half price what dispensaries sell it at. You know, we'll make a deal.
Yeah. And, you know,
so
some people
like it's great.
Some people might frown upon that, dude. You know, like, oh, you're being irresponsible. You're chancing this or that, and that's fine if people want to think that. Like, that's their fine. That's fine. But you know what, dude? Like, but that's how people like Martin Luther King and stuff made a difference, dude. Martin Luther King Jr. He made a difference by going against the grain. By or people like a long time ago in the South who would just get on a white bus even though they were black. They weren't supposed to. They weren't allowed. And I bet you a lot of people told them the same thing. Hey, you better not do that. You know what I mean? You're gonna you're risking this. You're risking that. You got a family to provide for.
That's what separates you from the sheep and the wolves, dude.
Yeah, but it's people like that who make a difference, dude. It's people like that who end up they make a stand. Sometimes they end up getting in trouble, and they just go through it, just like Martin Luther King Jr. How many times is that guy arrested? And it's not that he's trying to break the law to be a rebel or be some cool Joe.
I hope I never have to get arrested to fucking prove my point, man.
Yeah,
I'll just make that obvious. I'll point that out. But I would hate to, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah. Because I would risk that. I'm risking that choice. I'm making a choice to say, if I do get arrested, I'll do it. But,
yeah, and that's what I mean, man. I just wanted to like show the other side of the coin, that like, if you view it as, if somebody listening views that as irresponsible and thinks you're an idiot, which I don't think there'll be too many people listening to this podcast who think that, but if they do, it's there's the other side of the coin too, where it's like, well, yeah, in one sense it may be irresponsible if you look at it in this way, but there's another way to look at this as well, where you're just going, you know what, this is a plant, and you're taking away my sovereign human freedom by not allowing me to grow it. So I'm just going to go ahead and grow it.
Yeah, because all the pills they would give me, dude, just makes me, like, sick, dude. I can't do it. All the antidepressants and all their stuff they wanted me to take, it literally made me drop a lot of weight and made symptoms worse. And it makes you feel good at first. And I'll tell everybody out there that wants to start the antidepressants, you're going to feel great at first. And you will, but you're just not going to last. it's going to get worse because you're going to have to increase your dose. And what's going to happen is once you're doing that, your brain is already changing. Your brain is already getting rewired from these chemicals. And then you have to get off all those chemicals to try to rewire your brain that's already fucked up. So, and that sucks. That's what's really hard to do.
Yeah.
That's why I say don't even start with antidepressants, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I could relate to that, dude, because I have some very first-hand experience in adjusting dosages and trying to get off of antidepressants. So I don't know how it is for other people. I don't want to say like this is how it is, but I know how it is for me, and it's dude, it's really rough, man. I gotta admit,
it is rough, man. I mean, that's why I swear on psilocybin, dude. I will fucking gladly send you fucking some microdoses, dude, to get you going. Like I said before, but that's the way to do it, man. It shakes up your brain, dude. It shakes up the snow globe, gets everything moving, and
well, there's this evidence. There's all this evidence out that like psilocybin just gives you like this reset for people with PTSD, like war veterans or trauma
Those are
victims.
larger doses too. Yeah, a lot of people say they take one dose and they're good, and a lot of people will take larger doses. It might work for you too to take like a large dose and then be like, oh, I don't need to do that again for a while. I'm good. But for me, I'm dealing with shit that I've been dealing with for 33 years. You know, so I've got shit I've got to fucking deal with. So I can't just take something and be like, all right, it's gone. I feel good now. I'm like breaking down barriers through meditation and through therapy. So, in psilocybin, dude, is the only thing that's helping. I'm not on any other drugs, dude, or I'm not on any drugs. Let me say, I'm just on natural shit.
Good for you, man.
Cannabis and psilocybin, dude.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, we're at about an hour.
I know, man, and we didn't even get to talk about fucking
I know,
cannabis. I feel like, dude.
We're gonna have to do another episode soon.
Yeah, man, I want to. Yeah, dude, I really do want to talk about get into some of the growing aspects of it and all, you know.
Yeah, dude, for sure, man.
But I kind of knew this episode. I didn't know how it would go. I figured I would have either way to go. We're going to dive into cannabis or the grow, or we're going to dive into whatever.
Something,
that's usually how it goes, man. Yeah, I'm cool with it, though. I like it, man. It's good to talk, man. Glad you had me back on.
Yeah, man. It's good to talk to you, too, dude. I hope you hang in there, and I'll hang in there, and we just all got to support each other, man, with all this depression and anxiety.
That's what this community is so good at, man. And that's why I'm really glad to be back on the show and hear a lot of other guys that are in this community that started by listening to us, you know, and they're like inspired, you know what I mean? So just having that feeling of inspiring other people, and now we're seeing that they're already giving back, and that's all I've ever wanted. And I'll tell all you guys out there, all I want from anybody out there that gets knowledge from me is just to pay it back and just give that knowledge to somebody else that needs it. That's it.
That's right, man.
That pays me back well enough, man.
Iron sharpens iron.
Hell yeah.
All right, brother. Well, you have a good rest of your day, man. And
all right, man. You do the same. Let's head up again soon, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure, dude. We have to.
Yeah, dude. Stay strong, man.
All right, bro. You too, man.
All right, later.
See ya. Well, thank you so much for listening, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Be sure to follow Rasta K as well as the Autoflower podcast on Instagram. You can also follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the show notes. Have a great rest of your week. Much love and happy growing, you guys. See ya.
Nicotine, alcohol, good drugs. Coincidentally, tax drugs. Ooh, how does this fucking work?
The dried leaves and berries are ground up and made into cigarettes by a simple hand machine. The deadly narcotic is thus quickly and easily prepared for its market. The sale of marijuana is even more difficult to detect and halt than the traffic in drugs such as opium, morphine, and heroin.